Welcome everyone. Myself Sonam Madgaonkar, Assistant Professor, Government College of Arts, Science and Commerce, KPM Goa. Program Bachelor of Science, second year, Subject Botany, Semester 4, Course Code BOC 104, Course Title Plant Physiology. Title of the unit is Unit 8, Plant Growth Regulators, Module name Discovery and Physiological Roles of Ethylene. Outline: plant growth regulators of phytohormones, chemical nature of ethylene, discovery of ethylene, physiological roles of ethylene. Learning outcomes: at the end of this module, the learner discusses ethylene as a plant hormone, lists the physiological roles of ethylene, explains the physiological roles of ethylene. Coming to the first part, that is the introduction, let us first study what are plant growth regulators or phytohormones. The plant growth regulators or phytohormones can be defined as organic substances produced naturally in higher plants which are able to control growth or other physiological functions at a site remote from its place of production and active in minute quantity. Now, coming to different types of plant growth regulators. Now, there are various plant growth regulators such as auxins, example indole 3-acetic acid, gibberellins, example gibberellic acid, cytokinins, example kinetin, zeatin, abscisic acid, and ethylene. Now, coming to the chemical nature of ethylene. Now, ethylene is the only plant growth regulator that occurs in the form of a gas. Ethylene is a well-known olefinic gas with a molecular weight of 28. Highly volatile substance that readily undergoes oxidation to produce ethylene oxide. Colorless flammable gas with a faint, sweet and musky odor when pure. Lighter than air at room temperature and is sparingly soluble in water. Readily absorbed by potassium permanganate. This is a structural formula of ethylene. Now coming to the discovery of ethylene. Now ethylene has been used since the ancient times. Egyptian gassed the figs in order to stimulate ripening. Ancient Chinese would burn incense in closed rooms to enhance the ripening of pears. Russian scientist named Dmitry Neljubov in 1901 observed that dark-grown pea seedlings growing in the laboratory exhibited symptoms like inhibition of stem elongation, stem thickening, and horizontal growth due to ethylene present in laboratory air, but when grown in fresh air, regained their normal growth. A.F. Sievers and R.H. Through in 1912 demonstrated that the combustion gases from the kerosene stove were beneficial in the ripening of lemons. W.C. Crocker and L.I. Knight in 1908 and 1913 identified ethylene as the active constituent of both illuminating gas and tobacco smoke. H. Cousins first reported that plants evolve ethylene. Observed that when oranges and banana were stored together during shipping, some gas was emanated from oranges which caused ripening of banana. Sarah Dowd in 1917 discovered that ethylene stimulated abscission. Frank A. Denny in 1924 discovered that it was the ethylene emitted by the kerosene lamps that induced the ripening in crops. O.H. Elmer in 1932 reported that the sprouting of potatoes could be inhibited by keeping them in close proximity of mature apples or pears. R. Gane in 1934 provided a chemical proof that ethylene was produced by ripe apples. Since then, it has been shown that ethylene is produced from essentially all parts of higher plants and is induced during certain stages of growth such as germination, ripening of fruits, abscission of leaves, and senescence of flowers. Now, coming to the physiological roles of ethylene. Ethylene performs various physiological roles such as fruit ripening, plumular hook formation, triple response, formation of adventitious root and root hairs, inhibition of root growth, leaf apinesty, flowering, sex expression, senescence, abscission of leaves, breaking dormancy of seeds and birds. Now, coming to the first physiological role, let us study this in detail, that is fruit ripening. Now, most pronounced effect of ethylene is ripening of fruits such as apples, bananas, tomatoes, etc., and is also known as fruit ripening hormone. Exposure of fruits to ethylene result in increase in respiration, additional production of ethylene, and speed up of ripening process. Different types of fruit react differently with exogenous application of ethylene. These are the images showing the raw banana and a ripened banana. In climacteric fruits such as apple, bananas, tomatoes, exposure of mature fruits to ethylene result in respiration climacteric, which is increase in respiration during initiation of ripening, followed by additional production of ethylene leading to hastening of ripening process. In non-climacteric fruits such as citrus fruits and grapes, ethylene treatment does not cause respiration, climacteric and additional ethylene production, and the ripening process remains unaffected. Minimum threshold level of endogenous ethylene is essential for all types of fruits for ripening. Next, plumular hook formation. Now, etiolated dicot seedlings, the plumular tip is usually bent like a hook. The hook shape helps to penetrate through the soil and protect the tender apical growing point from being injured. Ethylene causes asymmetric growth on two sides of plumular tip, more rapid growth of outer side. In this image, we can see the plumular tip bent, which is bent like a hook. Now, seedling exposed to white light, formation of ethylene decreases and the inner side of the hook also elongates rapidly, equalizing the growth on two sides and the hook opens. Red light is more effective in opening of plumular hook. This effect can be reversed by exposing the seedling to far red light. Etiolated seedlings, when exposed to light in presence of ethylene, the plumular hook fails to open. If seedlings are grown in dark along with an ethylene absorbent such as potassium permanganate, the plumular hook opens. Next is triple response. Now, ethylene causes triple response of etiolated seedling such as in pea, which consists of inhibition of stem elongation, stimulation of radial swelling of stems, horizontal growth of stems with respect to gravity. Next is formation of adventitious roots and root hairs. Now, ethylene induces formation of adventitious roots in plants from different plant parts such as leaf, stem, peduncle, and even other roots. In Arabidopsis, ethylene treatment promotes initiation of root hairs. This is an image showing the initiation of roots from the stems. Next is inhibition of root growth. Now, ethylene inhibits linear growth of roots of dicotyledonous plants. In this image, we can see the root growth or the root development is not well formed. Next is leaf epinasty, when upper side of the petiole of the leaf grows faster than the lower side, due to which leaf curves downward. This is called as epinasty. Example: tomato, potato, pea, and sunflower. Only in dicots plant it is seen. Young leaves are more sensitive than the older leaves. Monocots do not exhibit this response. This is an image showing the curling of the leaves seen in tomato plants. Next is flowering. Now, ethylene inhibits flowering in plants. In pineapple and mango, it induces flowering. So, used commercially to synchronize flowering and fruit set in pineapple. Plumbago indica, a short day plant, can be made to flower even under non-inductive long days with the application of ethylene. This is an image showing the initiation of flowering in mango plants. Next is sex expression. In some monoecious plants such as cucurbits, cucumber, pumpkin, squash, and melons, ethylene promotes formation of female flowers, thereby suppressing the number of male flowers. Next physiological role is senescence. Now, ethylene enhances the senescence of leaves and flowers in plants. In senescence, concentration of endogenous ethylene increases with decrease in concentration of cytokinins, and it is said that a balance between these two phytohormones controls senescence. This is an image showing the senescence of the leaves. Example: freshly cut carnation Flowers, when kept in water, lose color of their petals and wither easily. When kept in water containing silver thiosulfate, remain fresh for many weeks. So, silver thiosulfate is potent inhibitor of ethylene action. Next, coming to the abscission of leaves. Now, ethylene promotes abscission of leaves in plants. Older leaves are more sensitive than the younger leaves. Induces synthesis of wall-degrading enzymes such as cellulases and pectinases, which lead to leaf abscission. Example is fumigating the wild-type birch tree, that is Betula pendula, with 50 ppm of ethylene result in rapid defoliation of the tree within few days. However, in transgenic birch tree with a mutated version of Arabidopsis, ethylene receptor ETR1-1 does not respond to ethylene treatment and therefore does not defoliate. So abscission means basically defoliation of the leaves, as we can see in this image. This is a birch tree in which we can see the abscission of leaves. Next is breaking dormancy of seeds and buds. Now, ethylene breaks the dormancy and initiates germination of seeds in strawberry, apple and cereals. Non-dormant varieties of seed produce more ethylene than the dormant varieties. Now, dormancy of buds can also be broken by ethylene treatment in many plants. Potato tubers are exposed to ethylene in order to sprout the dormant buds. This is an image showing germination of the seeds. These are my references which I have referred to prepare this module. Thank you.